everybody. Welcome to the Winner's Journey podcast, where you hear the secrets behind the success stories so that you get inspired and unleash the winner in you. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm your host, Viviana Puello, CEO of the Artistry International magazine. And my mission in life is to inspire you so that you are happy and contribute to make the world a better place. So, as you know, in this show, we interview winners, people who are making an impact in the world, who have written history with their journey, and they're winning not only our hearts, but also conquering their destinies. And today's guest, I am so honored to present to you, is an artist from Buffalo, New York, known as LeRoi. And he's an award-winning master artist whose career expands for more than 45 years. So he has a lot to share with us. His work embodies African historical tradition and raw ethnicity in a unique technique that he defines as electric primitive art. His work has been exhibited all over the world, across the globe, in numerous galleries, and during his journey, he has touched all aspects of art, including music. And actually, he has been inducted into the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, honored for his role in the industry, including managing legendary artists like Rick James. And he's going to speak to us about it. LeRoi has played a role in paving the way for African art. His efforts and creative endeavors stay true to the cultural heritage he feels connected to. LeRoi, what an intro.
I'm telling you, you said everything. Is there any need for me to be here? Thank you. Thank you for being
I
here.
wanted the audience to know who we are talking to, because I'm so honored, LeRoi, to just to know you and been working with you for these years. You are such an inspiring artist, and there's so much history, and you have such an incredible journey that you have to share with us. uh, I'd love for you to share. Now we're gonna go into the visual art, which is, magnificent, but I want you to share your a little bit of your story, because it's just rich, and I want to hear it and share it so that people know what you have done and what they can do and get inspired.
Well, I can start. Well, it's best to start at the beginning, but we and it's interesting that you knew very little about who I was, or what I was doing when we first met, and only as we got to know each other better, then you start figuring out things, which is cool. So I became an artist and got involved with you. It had nothing to do with anything other than what you saw on canvas. I've been actually painting since I was about 5, or drawing at 5, and then uh, I had an experience when I was 10 that was involved in a car accident, which kept me bedridden for a number of years. And so I was actually able to practice a number of my skills during that period in terms of sketching and developing a visual approach to my work, which was more in perspective and geometrical at the time. Uh, I went on from after that experience to high school. I went to a technical high school for commercial art for 1 year, and didn't feel that was right. I thought I was too structured, but there's a lot that was gained from that I tried to get rid of, but at the same time, I continued to incorporate it into my work. I learned quite a bit in that 1 year, but for the most part, I'm self-trained. I went off from high school, and during high school, I did a lot of painting, mostly like, I don't know if kids did it, but I painted my entire apartment, all the walls. I was doing early murals, splash art, I would call it. So I did a lot of that. I even did something real cool, which was I had guys hold me upside down, and I walked across the ceiling while they were holding me. And, I had my footprints going across the ceiling and along the walls, that kind of thing. But I was fortunate after that, and then going to college, I moved to Washington, D.C., and while I was in Washington, I was exposed to all the various museums there, National Gallery of Fine Art, the Corcoran Museum, the African American Museum, and a number of other places there. And my office was actually across the street from the National Gallery of Fine Arts. So every day I would have lunch there, and I had the opportunity to see some of the great artists of America, and at the Corcoran, great artists of the world. So I painted while I was in law school, and painted while I lived in Washington. And then I had a hiatus after that. Got a chance to travel the world, to the United States and the world, and go to museums all over the place. And after spending over 10 years with my brother, then I decided to go into a private practice, of which I'm an attorney. But at the same time, I did a lot of, started painting and doing more painting, and started exhibiting first in Buffalo, then in Europe, and then in Brazil. And then I met you and started doing work in Italy and France and the United States. And through my meetings with you and through the exhibits that I did, I met a lot of fabulous artists who invited me to a number of places, which I think is one of the benefits of joining an organization, to have a person like you, because I met so many talented artists who exposed me to so many different things in the arts. And after that, I did a number of world tours, and here we are now after the pandemic, or during the pandemic, and I'm in a period of reflection and uh, growth, and just looking over my career and looking over the future, looking to see what the future, and preparing. But that's a little background on who I am and what I've done. I did a lot of work in Brazil, and last year, I can't even say last year, we totally lost last year. That was a total loss. So if we go back to 2019, I did 2 world tours. I exhibited in Europe and Asia and Africa, and in Canada and the US. And the same, I did the same the year before that. And the same was planned for last year, but it didn't happen. And hopefully in 2021, we'll have another opportunity to do some touring. But I also have some other major museums planned to do some exhibits at.
That sounds so exciting, Leroy. And you never stop. That is something that I admire so much, because as artists, either you're painting or you're working, you have an incredible career as well as a lawyer, right? And or
Yes.
you're traveling. So that's so much. And I know that a lot of people, one of the things that we think about creating in artists is that artists are just in the studio, they're just painting, and somehow in some magical way they get discovered and it's done. But it's so far away from reality, right?
Well, I think that you have to have time to reflect, time to reflect not only on your career but on your work, and to start thinking about maybe changes in styles and uh, different visuals around yourself. You need to expand. I think one of the things that I've been able to do is I've been able to travel different places in the world and see different things. And every time I go, I get more ideas. And I think the art is about what you've internalized, and you try to get those things that you internalize out onto the canvas. Um, and so that's how I feel about it. And I feel about the things that I've internalized based on the moment, based on things that are occurring. And then sometimes you think about things in the past and you try to integrate all that. That's what electric primitive, which is my phrase, is all about. It's about using a style, a very primitive style on contemporary topics, because basically nothing's really changed. We're doing the same thing, but we're just in different times. So this is a good period to reflect and to just take it easy and look at things. And when doors open, then let's see how fresh your views are and see how fresh your work is afterward. I've done more painting now than I've ever done. I've been able to do more in a short amount of time because I practice on my technique and skills, and things are they just flow out now. Whereas other times, as you said, artists don't paint all the time. I mean, you have times when you just have to stop and you have to reflect. And I found that I had a lot of those times. I might not paint for months, but when I did paint, I did a lot of painting. I usually work on 4 or 5 paintings at the same time. And when I'm in that mood, I really paint a lot. I really very productive. So.
Well, how did you come about developing your style? Because you have a style of your own. You developed something unique. Did it take years? How did you go about creating that?
Well, I have no idea. To be honest with you, every time I go to the canvas, it's an experiment. Every time, but I let the brush and my sensitivities work together. It seems as though only certain colors work on certain themes. Certain ideas only work on certain size canvases. Uh, um, and a certain approach is, I use the same approach usually, but I really have to think about it. And at one time I did sit down and try to develop a pattern to work, but I forgot it immediately. So it didn't work. So I just go to canvas, and I start. Usually the toughest part for me of painting is to do the prep on the canvas, which is laying the foundation. And then after that, everything else flows. The structure of it, the colors flow. I have some basic colors that I start with, and then from there, every other color just comes naturally.
But it is unique. I tell you that I guess, it's in you. Because I remember entering a liquor store, very elegant liquor store, by the way, next to the gallery. And the first thing I saw there were 2 paintings. And it was from the door to far away where they were. And I saw them and I'm like, that's LeRoi. And when I went, yeah, it had your signature. And I knew it. I knew it was your work. So
Mm-hmm.
that, I guess it's in you. It's in you. It
Well,
just
it's funny,
comes
but
out.
I don't see that. I know my work, but certain things people say my work is colorful. I don't see it. I really
Mhm.
don't see it. They say it has a particular style. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror. You don't see things, and other people have to tell you what they see. When I see other people's work, and believe me, I see fabulous work out there. And I've learned not to compare yourself, but to be part of the group, because every artist has a different style and something different to say, because it's something that was internalized and now it's flowing out. Uh, so you're not going to be painting like someone else. And it's good to be appreciated by other artists and people who love art, because you never know what your art represents. Matter of fact, it represents one thing to me, but then I hear people tell me some other things that it represents to them, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Matter of fact, that sounds better than what I was painting. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. Yes, I'll go with that.
I love what you're saying because this is a great message also for anyone that's watching, even if they're not artists, because you're so focused on sharing your message and know that there's a message in every artist. You don't need to compare. That's a big message, because we live in an era of competition. Everybody wants attention. everybody wants to capture social media. Everybody's thinking about, what's the competition doing, and it could filter into the art industry. It could reach the artists when it comes to business. But it's great to hear what you're saying. It's important to be part of the group, part of the network, and
Yeah,
everyone has their own message.
yeah. You have to be confident in what you do, and with that confidence, then you can continue to build a style. I think, uh,
Right.
because that's where your style grows from, the confidence that you have and what you paint. I've been told that I paint um, historical themes and that sort of thing, but when I'm painting, I'm not thinking about that. But internally, I guess I am. I guess I'm thinking about that because you look at it and it's a story there. Uh, but it's a moment and it's part of my life, something that's been internalized, and I have to get that out. There are times when somebody says, "Why don't you paint something like this?" Well, I can't do it like that because I'm not feeling it. I have to feel what I paint, and that's important to me. They say, "Why don't you paint that purple?" I painted purple. Are you kidding me? I said, "Where's that come from?" I might have purple in another painting, but I'm not painting this purple because I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling red or I'm feeling something else. If you want purple, then you either paint it yourself or get somebody who does the purple thing for you. But it's a very personal thing for me, art. And it's also a very moment oriented because I'll be doing something and doing a particular thing. And then out of nowhere, I will see something visual that is really doesn't exist, but it does exist in my mind. And I want to paint that. And that may lead me somewhere else, but I still have to get that out first. I have to get that out. And so I'll shift into that for the moment. And then I'll look back at some of the things because I have many, many unfinished paintings, many unfinished paintings. And when I come back to it, they're finished, really. They're really finished. But at the time, I thought they were unfinished. And if they do need a little work, then I'll do it. For the most part, it's only in my mind. I think for artists, the hardest thing is to figure out when your work is finished.
Yes, when to stop painting.
Yeah, that's very hard for most artists.
And LeRoi, what are you doing this year? What's coming up? What's cooking?
Well, I can't talk about the show, but I'm planning. I told you I'm planning a major show, which we're moving forward with, and I will probably in the next few months announce. But I'm doing that. This will be my probably. It won't be my first one, the largest show, but it will be maybe the first large museum show, and we have some plans for after that. But I've had shows where I've had 100 pieces, and uh, but not in the size place that this has been. Uh, and that for me is, when you do one piece, there's a lot of work in doing one piece. I remember us doing Miami, and I got down there and everything with the painting was there and everything, but the framing didn't arrive. And remember, I had to wait that night and wait for the framing to come in, and the guy, "Oh, we can't do it." Well, the show was starting the next morning. You had to have it, so we waited all that night, and then we were the last people out and got locked in the down there at Art Basel. That was those kinds of things happened, but we're not going to have one piece in this show. We're going to have probably 75 to 80 pieces. And you just multiply that, the problems that you may have with all of that. But because of my experiences, I'm ready for it. I believe I'm ready for it. And I'm ready for a lot of things because I think I've been around some great organizers. Smile, you know, some great organizers who, I've learned a lot from. And I know what to ask for now. I know
Yeah,
what to ask for, and I know how a great show looks. So,
that's so awesome. That's so awesome. I see that you're a good observer. You like to observe and learn from people, and that means you're humble. Not everybody does that.
well, I mean, you don't grow it's easier to learn from someone than to learn on your own. I mean, it's that simple. You know, why go and reinvent the wheel when someone has already invented it? You know, why don't you just improve on it? You know, so I think I've learned that by going around it. I mean, you know, traveling, doing exhibits around the world, you have to learn how to pack, how to ensure, you know, when you arrive, you know, who to deal with. I mean, there's a lot of variances and things that you have to understand as an artist when you start doing things internationally, and even if you start doing it nationally. I mean, internationally becomes more complicated because you've got to go through customs and all those other kinds of things and insurance. So it's better to talk to someone who's done it. And some of the people that I met from you got me involved in a lot of the international shows, and they gave me the pathway. Anything I needed to know, they made it simple so I could do it, you know? And I try to do the same for other artists, but that's the benefit of doing some things with an organization such as yours, where you meet artists, you know, you're not confined to just doing something in one particular area. The world opened up, it opens
Yes.
up to you. So
Yeah, and that's so important. We know that now more than ever, right? After last year, how important it is to be connected, to have a worldwide network.
yes,
So important.
yes. I mean, I'm the artists that I've met online, I get a chance. I don't have to go to all the museums now because I'm seeing work from them from every place in the planet, every place. And it keeps that flow, especially in a time like this where you can't go anywhere. You can, you know, I belong to a number of different societies: the Haitian Art Society, the New York Contemporary and Abstract Society, um, and you get a chance to see the work, and you know, there's ideas floating around there, out there, that you can, as I say, incorporate, or you know, without using the word steal, but you can, you know,
Oh
still,
yes,
you know, yeah. Picasso once say, "Good artists copy, but
yes.
what do great artists do? Steal."
Well,
That was one of his.
before we go, speaking of, there has been so much going on around us. I'm not even getting into the detail, but without falling into any particular event, um, what would be an advice that you give to anyone that is stuck right now? Because we are going through such challenging times. And I hear a lot of not only artists, well, this show is also for creative entrepreneurs who are trying to create, trying to focus on business, trying to focus on being positive for the new year, and then being bombarded by the news and everything that is happening. How do you keep inspired? How do you stay motivated?
Well, one of the things is that you have to relax. You have to get outside, take a walk, and take a walk by yourself or whatever, and take some deep breaths, and just take a look around. Look at the sky. Look at, you know, look at the trees, and look at the things around you, and just it's almost like a form of yoga. Do that, and refresh yourself every day. Do not get consumed with the media and that. Do not keep the television on what's going on with Trump and the rest. You know, those things will be there. So, I mean, one of the things you have to do to be yourself is to relax, and then start to internalize things. And that'll give you an opportunity to start fresh and to start thinking. So, I mean, that's a key. That, you know, relaxation is a key for almost anything that you do. You're ultimately going to be better in everything if you just relax and just take it easy, and then come back fresh, you know, with more energy. So, I mean, my advice, that's simple advice, you know, take a walk.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for this moment. And I hope we join us again when you are ready to reveal your big project, because I want to hear everything about it.
Okay.
Thanks,
Will
LeRoi.
do. Thank you,
All
Viviana.
right. And thanks
Ciao,
everyone
ciao.
for tuning in. Bye, LeRoi. Big
Take
hugs.
care. Take care. Bye.
Bye.